Monahan?
Yes.
Pearl? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We will move to section 1.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Go ahead and call.
Jenkins?
Yes.
Monahan?
Yes.
Pearl?
Yes.
Motion carried.
If no unfinished business, we move to section 3.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2013-1, a resolution approving a TIP-1 grant to Rick's at 306 South Main not to exceed $15,000.
I second it.
Any discussion?
What this is, just so you both know, is that Tom Rick had put in for 100% approval to the TIF committee for the replacement of his roof and for heating and cooling. And the TIF committee really kicked it around a lot, and this is the dollar figure that they came up with, that he could do one or the other, or a combination of both, however he sees fit. This was the maximum amount that they elected to award him.
Any discussion?
Is it optional how much they can give him, or reasoning why they didn't give him more to the
I mean, what they did was, is that they had seen where, even though it was for a separate building, he had received TIF money before, and they looked at the price of the heating and cooling and the roofs, and did comparisons with what had been awarded to other people, and this is what they came up with, so.
Alrighty.
Any other discussion? Go ahead and call.
Monahan?
Yes.
Pearl?
Yes.
Jenkins?
Yes.
Motion carried.
I'm making
Go ahead, Jack.
motion to approve resolution 2013-2, resolution approving the 2013 meeting dates.
Second.
Any discussion? Go ahead and call.
Pearl?
Yes.
Jenkins?
Yes.
Monahan?
Yes.
Motion carried.
I'd like to make a motion. Oh, no, I don't.
No, you don't.
I don't want to do that at all.
Mr. Duncan, instead of Michelle making a motion, would you like to stand up and speak to?
If I may,
Go ahead,
if
sir.
I may pass this up,
Yes.
we'll talk a little bit about the power plant and bringing it into the
Rice NESHAP compliance. Just a little background on the Rice NESHAP compliance. In May of 2010, the US EPA mandated engines manufactured before a certain period in 2006 had to have certain improvements to meet the hazardous air pollutant standards. It affects the exhaust system and it affects crankcase ventilation systems. In general, it's a big catalytic converter like you have on your car. And by reducing the CO, it also reduces the hazardous air pollutants like formaldehyde, some of the xylene, benzene, materials like that. And it has been mandated that if a municipality or a private provider is going to get any type of economic benefit from these engines, you have to comply with this Rice NESHAP rule. And that is why you took the approach you did of putting the new generators in so you wouldn't upgrade some units. And it's pretty consistent with all the IMEA members. They have taken one approach or the other to maintain their capacity credits that you have that you obtain through the IMEA. Where you stand right now Actually, if we can look at this top table here, you have 4 units. You have a copy of this, Rick? Okay. You have 4 units down there. You have nameplate capacity, declared capacity. You'll see that declared capacity is a little less than nameplate, to be expected on older equipment. You don't run them to nameplate rating for longevity. Capacity credits is what you get from IMEA monthly for each of those units. That's based on $3.20 a kilowatt month. So if you take this declared capacity times 320, you'll end up with this number in the monthly capacity credit column. And then annual capacity, of course, is just what you get per year for each unit, and that's tallied at the bottom, 234,000. Then the last column is for the term of the contract with IMEA, which runs through the end of September of 2030. 2030, 2035?
Second is 2035.
2030. It's 269 months from May. So that's where this bottom number of 5.25 million comes from. That's what your capacity payments are worth to you. So Rick had asked me to look at, the pros and cons of making the modification to Unit 5. So scenario 1 is taking the approach that I think has generally been laid out. Units 1, 2, and 4 will go into emergency mode. And then the capacity payments from those engines get transferred to the CATs. And you get capacity payments for the nameplate rating. The agency has been, I would call it, generous in that regard.
Very generous.
That this declared capacity up here at the top totals 6,100. They would actually give you what the nameplate is, not what you've been running your urge tests at. So when you look at what that capacity payment is, it's on 3,548 kW. So that equates to a little over 11,000 a month. If you upgrade Unit 5 with the catalytic converter, you'll get 3,000 out of that, and that is just what we're comfortable running the engine at. Again, we're a little bit below nameplate. Rick's been running or getting 3,000 consistently, for years. So I mean, that's a number that we would expect to get for the next 20 years or such. So that comes out to 9,600 a month for the capacity credit for that unit itself. If you total those up for the month, it's 20,953. The term of the contract, 5.6 million. If we don't upgrade Unit 5, we only take the nameplate capacity of the 3 we talked about a while ago, and you would also transfer what you can from Unit 5. And that goes to, back up at the top here, your nameplate capacity is 7,048. So your new generation is only 4,500. So you're only going to get 4,500 of capacity payments back. And that's going to, the amount lost between what we talked about a while ago of making the modification, not making the modification, is $6,500 a month, or 1.7 million over the course of the IMEA contract. So I mean, there's significant ramifications of not making the upgrade on Unit 5. And not to jump ahead, I suppose, but Rick and I have talked about some numbers of what that upgrade costs, and you're looking at really 2 years or less of payback in your capacity credits. And the engine is in good shape. I mean, there's always that chance something could happen, but you don't expect any issues. That unit was put in 74,
74, overhauled in 2000.
so that engine has significant longevity expectations out of it. So I threw a lot of numbers at you, but you know, it sort of boils down to, I guess, 3 numbers. You've been getting the 5.25 mil or annual capacity credits of the 234,000. And you push that out to the term of the contract, that's worth 5.25 million. The Rice-Neshap law changed the way you could get those credits. You had to do something. You took partial action when you put the cats in. That secured you with 4,500 kW of new engines, ease of operation, and so on. To get the last bit that you could get, which is the 2048, you've got to make the upgrade on Unit 5. And it's basically a 2-year payback to do it.
How much is the project costing? You said roughly, how much would this project cost?
The way I looked at it, it's a little under 160,000. I think it's 157,200 in the resolution.
Yeah, something like that. I think the resolution is 157.2. That should cover most of your costs.
And that is based on proceeding on this without going through full engineering, full bidding, because we're running out of time here. And I would suggest that this be handled such that you get competitive prices and then move forward.
But we have a date that has to be done by?
May 3rd of this year, and it is doable if it's pursued basically within the next couple of weeks, I would say. And the city manager is allowed to authorize contracts or purchase orders. We don't have to wait for future council meetings and spend 3 months getting everybody lined up. Now, along that line, and Rick knows more about this than I do, that there's mechanisms that the IMEA will allow you to take it out of service. You will not get paid for it, but it would extend the timeline probably about 10 months. If you hit 12 months, you're going to lose the potential for getting the capacity payments back. But every month it's delayed, you're losing, that revenue or capacity credit, it's gone. So at 2,000, you're losing 6,500 a month. Every time it's, June 3rd rolls around, it's not ready.
And taking the chance of losing it all.
If it gets pushed out too far, yes, sir. Because there's been no discussion of, that I'm aware of on the IMA board of if the capacity payments are lost, reinstating them. Other engines or generators that have been put in at a later time, this 320 goes back to your original IMEA contract. Generators that have been put in since then are reimbursed at $1.20. So there's a big difference in the reimbursement. So you have a reimbursement rate of 320 that once you give it up, there's no getting it back.
Questions?
Do you have a vendor already pretty well in line? Because it just sounds like an odd figure, 157,200.
Well, and the way I arrived at that price is you would actually purchase the material, and you would enter a contract with a supplier, the CCB, and with a contractor. And because of the timeline, I know there's one specific manufacturer that can meet the schedule. You know, could there be another one? Possibly, I don't know for sure, but I know there's one in Nebraska that can, because we already talked to them before we made the commitment that we did here. And similar with contractors, I know there's a couple of contractors here in Illinois that, and again, we would give them the scope of work. We could do a walkthrough with 2 reputable contractors, get the best price, and we would initiate the purchase order contract. And that's would be my suggestion, how to handle it at this point, because by the time you burn a few weeks on material, get your contractor lined up, get the testing done, May 3rd will be upon us.
Questions from the councilman? Council lady?
Thank you.
I specified there.
Politically correct. How much is left?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. How much is left in our money that we set aside for the project? What was the total?
Is that good, please?
Yes, thank you.
No.
According to the bookkeeper, 39,708.
Are all the bills and have we received all the bills?
You know of anything outstanding, Rick, besides the one?
It's on your one, it's on, I think you just approved payment.
72.
72 is the final,
That'd be it?
that's of your bonded money, yes.
So there may still be some other bills out there? Well, you said of your bonded
I
money.
meant, your dollars you're talking about right there is what you're
The 39,000?
bonding. Yeah.
Well, the total bonding was 1,500,000.
Right.
Then the project total is 3,259,000. So I'm assuming that's part of the reserves too.
Yeah, you should have had it. There should be money in your reserve. The information I got, you should have $384,000.
The information you got was what?
Should have 384,000 in there
Where did you receive this information from?
from bookkeeper. It's your depreciation bank account.
Where would you suggest that this money comes from?
Well, we're looking here, I had her crunch the numbers today, and then the line 850 for systems, which is what everything's been drawn out of. She shows that there would be ample funds to pull it out of there. She's showing that there's 437,000 after that 72 is paid. It's on the bill listing.
470.
437,209 before this would be approved.
She may be including the numbers that she gave me. I don't know.
Okay.
I've not seen the numbers he has.
Yeah, she just printed this today.
What else do you have scheduled that's supposed to come out of there?
Out of the system, but that would be just whatever anything that he would have.
There's nothing major. If you do this catalyst project, your generator installation project, by paying the 72,000, whatever that bill was in your consent agenda, should be your retainage for your contractor. That should finish up that job. So your next phase of this project is that catalyst on that generator. That has to be.
And I know we had
I don't know of
discussed this,
anything else.
we had discussed having that done.
Yes. I don't know of anything else, Michelle, that would be coming up of any major have any major expense, I don't know anything.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Matt, you got anything?
No, sir.
We entertain a motion.
I can make a motion to approve resolution 2013-3. It's a resolution authorizing to execute agreements with suppliers to purchase equipment, labor, and services to make generator unit 5 compliant with Rice and Shep standards.
Second.
Call it.
Jenkins,
Yes.
Monahan,
Yes.
Pearl,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you.
Mrs. Hardesty could not be with us here this evening, so we move on to section 4, other items, the city manager and his report. Sir?
Just a couple quick things. As you know, at the last council meeting that was held out at the power generating station, there was a citizen in there that complained about neighbors and the dogs. And so she had made the statement that if you have a pet in the city of Clinton, that you have to have a fence. So I checked on that, and the city of Clinton does not have such a section in their ordinance. In the city of Clinton, all you have to do is have your dog on a leash if it's outside of the property owner's area. Same in the village of Leroy. So our ordinance pretty well shadows what everybody else's does. And I just wanted to make sure that you folks were aware of that, so if you get, if you're at the grocery store or anywhere, and somebody comes up to you, an animal can run on its own property without being on any type of a lead. And also then she had asked the mayor about any type of a holding facility, and we got into this several years ago. And this is why we do not have a holding facility, is that holding facilities, dog pounds, are regulated by the Illinois Department of Agriculture. They're licensed, you have to have heat, you have to have running water. There's a lot that goes into having just a place to put a stray dog. It's very unhandy that officers have to put a dog in the back of the squad car and take it to Clinton, but that's been the scenario for the past 4, 5, 6 months approximately, because the animal control officer has been off on medical emergency, but they make it work. So that's what's going on with that, and I just wanted to make sure that you folks had a background on that, and I don't know how that got reported in the papers when she was here the last time, but anyway. I got a phone call about, we had voted to open those streets. Just wanted to make sure that you folks knew that there was a complaint from the citizen in the general vicinity. You probably all got phone calls, I suppose. But anyway, and so I expressed to him, just different views on it, and that I would bring it to your attention in case there was any other feedback that went along with that. You just passed resolution 2013-1 for the roof. You see that we've finally been granted our EPA permit. This was supposed to be a new process. The EPA was going to grant permits in 2 weeks. It's taken 6 weeks. So we see that the state of Illinois is upholding their word. Green Street Sewer, Ted Reynolds, the storm drains down there, he's got that fixed. And they're talking that we could get 2 inches of rain later this week, so we'll see how well they work. And he did come in under bid, but there will be some street patching later and dressing of the terrace, so some more money will come back out of that. You see I put in here about the 20 acres, and I see that Mr. Munsell is sitting down in our audience, and I wanted to make sure that you folks were aware of that. Mr. Munsell was working for Cornerstone, and he had seen an article in the Panagraph about a large distributing facility that was looking at locating here in Illinois, mainly in the Bloomington Normal area. And so he had sent me an email, and we conversed back a little bit, and then he kind of took it upon himself to see what it would take to get this distributing facility here in Farm City. And I think he had some personal phone calls with people up there, and he did a lot of emailing. We had a meeting once down at Cornerstone where Main Street Realty and Cornerstone representatives were there, the mayor was there, Josh Hahn was there, and it was a pretty good meeting. But it just goes to show you that for the naysayers, if that's what you want to call them, about, you know, we shouldn't have the 20 acres out there and blah, blah, blah. There is an interest out there. Unfortunately, this one didn't go as far as what we'd liked it to have gone. But if you could ever land a facility out there, and they're talking 150 jobs, obviously it's good real estate. I don't know if you want to call it prime real estate right now, but somebody will step up to the plate one of these days. And it shows the good work, though, that Mr. Munsell did.
Larry, that was 250 jobs.
250 jobs.
250.
There you go. So,
Logistics is what stopped us.
yeah. Have they landed a location yet?
No, they're waiting for Normal to approve the enterprise. See, that's in an enterprise zone because now they're talking about a location between Walmart and Menards. And besides the original $7.25 million project, they want to buy enough land for double expansion in the future.
Mhm.
Are you aware Logan County, that enterprise zone can be expanded?
Mhm. Okay, and then the last thing there is that I've drafted up a letter that there's some interest from some of the area farmers, and they're concerned about that the drainage ditch here in town has a tendency to slow the water down, which we realize that. That's why we had 2 blocks cleaned up. And so they wanted to know if we had the funding that we could pick that project back up, mainly from the box culvert at John back up to the Canadian National Railway. And I told them that, you know, we're in the middle of the budget year, and we don't have funds set aside for that right now. But anyway, Marvin Doble, I don't know if you know him or not, Skip Doble, and he does a lot of drainage ditches and that for different farmers and drainage organizations. So he came in and was wanting to know if the city would send out letters to all the property owners to at least get permission for him to go up there and do some engineering studies. And then he was going to crunch numbers and go back to the group of farmers, see how much financial interest they had, and then see if we could chip in. So that's going on. So if somebody says, hey, why did I get this letter, you know what that's about. But they really think that the problem isn't necessarily from Main Street over to the east, but the problem is right up there. And so if they take the biggest part of it financially, maybe it's something that we can chip in and do. But it'll just depend on what the cost is. Huh?
Just what I was gonna ask.
Well, it depends on what at the price of what it comes in. So, and the last thing is, Mr. Mayor, I heard you say something before the meeting started. We do need to have an executive session for personnel at the next council meeting.
Put that on the schedule.
I do have a question for you concerning the citizen that had contacted us regarding opening up those roads. Based upon my conversation, the gist of it was that I understood he wanted us to pave that road and make it wider. That was what I got out of it. But
Oh, I never got that from him. What he told me was when we were strapped for land and we would not be able to make it wider. And I told him that actually we could make it wider if need be, but that was not in the plans to make it
and
wider.
that's what I had shared.
And he was concerned, as I put in here, about if he's got his farm machinery going down there and a truck or somebody came out, you know.
That's what I got, plus another one not wanting it.
And on the other side of that, I've had people say that, you know, it's a good thing, so it goes both ways.
And I really don't expect to see an increase in traffic. I mean, it's just gonna be those that are local around there. It's not a heavily traveled area to begin with.
Any other questions or concerns to the city manager and to his report?
And thank you for doing everything you did for us there. Doing it didn't fall through.
I'm still trying.
That's what I like to hear.
I'll point out that I think that Cornerstone and Main Street Real Estate have shown very aggressive, especially juxtaposed against the last realtor, and we appreciate that from you, sir. Any other non-agenda items and or business?
No, and I did forget, but our new sign is done. Our sign gentleman called today and said that he has it done for the posting out there on 20 acres. So, well, should be weather permitting, and we can get that put up maybe within the next couple of weeks.
I noticed the Weeman Park sign is blown off again.
Oh, it has?
I was running by it the other day and it was gone. Anyone picked it up? And that's,
Fine.
that's probably the second time it's done it, so it's,
Well,
poor design.
Yes, yes.
We're gonna have to,
Okay.
I'll try to bring the sign issue up to the group that did some of the fundraising and see if we can get another type of sign up there instead. Because that's the second time it's blown off, and that's a dangerous metal
I
saucer.
was up the other day, might have been last week.
I ran by it the
Last
other
2
day.
weeks, gonna work.
Sandy, can you set up a meeting with the young lady who was here last week concerning the ordinance on the dogs for next, see if she could meet next Monday morning, 9 AM would be fine with me. Let me know if that's all right. I'm not sure her work schedule. That'd be fine, I can meet her here. You have something, Pat?
Just other comments whenever you're ready.
Okay, go ahead.
We getting anywhere on the well house that burnt down?
Yes, the contractor, Joel Doss, was in just today and was inquiring if there was power up there, which I sent an email to Rick, and so they were gonna get temporary power up there. He was hoping to start Thursday or Friday because the weather was turning off good, so. And that's steel construction, where the other bid was 2x4, so he had to order everything. So
Okay.
he's using those steel 2x4s, whatever you want.
I just want to apologize for missing the Christmas dinner the other day.
I know, we canceled it. Like Pat's not here, we're gone.
Is there a burn order? Can you burn stuff now?
On, during the weekends, Friday and Saturday, and Sunday. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Any other non-agenda items, other business? On that, we'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
Colin?
Monahan? Pearl?
Yes.
Jenkins?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Meeting adjourned.